Does practice make perfect or permanent? Well, it depends who you ask, but if you have a look at all of the hyper-successful people in their respective fields, one thing they all do is that they practice their skills a lot. And I mean they're so passionate and obsessed about their area of expertise that they spend hours and hours and hours practicing and learning their skills that to them it probably doesn't even feel like they're even working. So if lots of practice is very, very good for mastery, why would I have a problem with the 10,000 hour rule? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you the good and the bad that have come with the uber popularization of the 10,000 hour rule. But first of all, a little bit of background. What is the 10,000 hour rule? The 10,000 hour rule originated from research coming from the psychologist K. Anders Ericsson. They studied expert performance, and what they found is that those individuals that reached a level of mastery in their respective fields, such as music, chess, and maybe sport, often accumulated approximately 10,000 hours of practice. But it was Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers, the Story of Success, where the 10,000 hour rule really gained popularity, where he suggested approximately 10,000 hours worth of practice is needed to reach mastery in any respective field. Gladwell tells the story of the Beatles playing in Hamburg nightclubs back in 1960, where they would often play for 8 hours straight a night, 7 days a week. Gladwell argues that these long hours of practice led to them achieving mastery and tightness as a band, and once they reached widespread fame in 1964, they had accumulated way over 10,000 hours worth of practice. He actually estimated that the Beatles played together around 1,200 times, which is far more than most bands ever played together in their lifetimes. So, first of all, has the popularity of the 10,000 hour rule been a good thing? And I'd say, for the most part, yes. But before I elaborate, I'd like to say a massive thank you to this video's sponsor, Human24 Rise. Rise by Human24 is not like other caffeine products. Its combination of caffeine, nootropics, and a hydration formula helps you feel naturally energized and improves cognitive function and alertness, which is perfect for me in the morning when that's when I do a lot of my creative work, including research and writing. Head to human24.com, that's HMN24.com, where you can use my code PHIL10 for 10% off and you start optimizing your mornings. You can find the link down below. The 10,000 hour rule has highlighted that mastery isn't something that can be achieved quickly. And I think this is important for setting people's expectations when learning. And it provides the distinction between the amount of time it takes to get good at something versus becoming a master of something. I mean, think about it. We all know that one person that has this huge wealth of experience over many years, and they seem to have some kind of unobtainable mythical aura about them when it comes to problem solving. Like they just know what to do, or they just see the world in a very different way when they're trying to create something. Now, this to me is mastery. And I think you can get quite good at things quite quickly, but to achieve mastery, that takes a huge amount of time and a lot of practice. The 10,000 hour rule, and along with stories where experts like the Beatles attain their mastery over many, many years and many, many hours of practice, makes people realize that if you want to achieve a certain level of mastery, you're going to have to put in the work over many, many years. You're going to have to be patient, put in the long hours, and at many times it probably feels like you're not progressing. But in the long term, all those hours really add up and you are progressing. This all sounds great, so why would I have a problem with the 10,000 hour rule? First of all, we need to be aware that only considering the number of hours practiced when trying to achieve mastery may actually be quite limited. If we go back to the original research of K. Anders Ericsson, he talks about the importance of deliberate practice. Practice should have a deliberate focus, a goal to achieve for that particular hour of practice. This gives the practice direction, and you can build on these skills by performing hours and hours and hours of deliberate focused practice. Without this, our practice would just be directionless. We could reach 10,000 hours, but not achieve mastery. Now, I would argue that practice should consist of deliberate practice and creative play. In creative play hours, your practice doesn't necessarily have direction. It has a key aim, but it doesn't necessarily have direction. It's an opportunity to try new things, go through trial and error, and do whatever comes into your head. It's your time to be your most creative because you are not constrained from deliberate practice. I'd argue that your greatest ideas and progression come from your creative play. However, your skills, in order for you to be creative, come from hours and hours of deliberate practice. Deliberate practice provides the foundation for you to be as creative as possible in your creative play. They complement each other. And despite creative play not necessarily having a specific direction, it does have an aim. So it isn't aimless practice. Either way, deliberate practice and creative play are not fully considered in the 10,000 hour rule. Secondly, there is data to show that 10,000 hours isn't necessarily some magic number. Even K. Anders Ericsson argues against it. And in some of his work, he found that professional violinists actually achieve mastery from between 3,000 hours to 17,000 hours, with 10,000 hours being roughly in the middle. And this wide range has been shown in quite a bit of research. There's a good example in chess. Check this example by Gobet and Campitelli. They investigated the practice hours of many grandmaster chess players and found that the total number of accrued practice that it took for them to reach grandmaster level ranged from just above 3,000 all the way up to 25,000 hours. So 10,000 hours doesn't seem to be some magic number you need to achieve. It just seems to be the average number it takes for people to achieve mastery. Now, if you think about it, we have so many different factors which influence how we progress. We've got our genetics, our personal life, the environment that we live in. All of these factors will determine how much practice we need to put in to achieve mastery. I mean, this is particularly important in sports where genetics play such a huge role in how well you progress in that sport. And we also need to be aware that even if we achieve mastery, that doesn't necessarily translate to performance at the elite level. So say you're an athlete, once you reach the elite level, you find out that pretty much all of the athletes have reached 10,000 hours or more of practice. So it feels like the number of hours of practice can help you reach that level of mastery and get to the elite level. So it feels like the number of hours practice can help you reach mastery and get to the elite level. But it's other factors such as genetics and the environment which probably play such a huge role once you're at the elite level and will probably help determine if you actually reach the top of that elite level. So to summarise, the 10,000 hour rule has been great to get people to understand that to achieve mastery takes a lot of practice over many years. However, it is not a magic number. You could reach 10,000 hours of practice and still not have achieved mastery. And that's okay, it just might take you a bit longer. But those practice hours need to consist of both deliberate practice and creative play. And we also need to be aware of other dominant factors which can influence our ability to progress, such as genetics and the environment. Practice hours alone won't predict your success. Did I miss anything? What's your opinion of the 10,000 hour rule? Let me know in the comments. And while you're in the comments, check out the link to Amazon where you can buy my new book, The Science of Hybrid Training. Right, everyone, keep embracing creativity and I'll see you in the next video.